All right. What's up, people? My name is Gerald Coleman, and this is my buddy, Andrew Wins.
What's
Buddy,
up?
I haven't used that word in a long time. Yeah, you know, for the daily office readings, right now the Old Testament reading is taking us through the Book of Ruth. And so as I was reading, I just kind of got this thought that popped into my head about Naomi. I wonder if Naomi's character would say anything to us about discipleship. And so I called up my buddy Drew, who I know is passionate about making disciples and trying to figure this thing out. I was like, man, maybe we should have a conversation about Ruth and see where this takes us. And so he was down. And Drew, you want to say anything about who you are and what you do and why this interests you?
I'm a pastor of a church in New Paltz, New York. I have a church plant about 30 minutes south of us in Newburgh, New York, and I'm passionate about discipleship. I've been passionate about discipleship since I entered into the ministry, and it's one of my main things I pass on to people is you got to start finding your replacement from day one. So I'm constantly looking for what Scripture has to say about that, and I think this is a great discussion. And I loved the concept. As soon as you brought it up, I thought, yeah, this is something we should look into. So I'm really happy to engage in this.
Yeah, and I serve as a pastor here at a church called Grace Community in Detroit. But right now, my family and I, we're living in a little town suburb called Grosse Pointe, which is really different from us. So we've only been here for about 9 months, and I'm asking the Lord about who am I called to really invest my life into. I know there's ministry in terms of church programs, but really, my wife and I have been seeking to live our lives, and really, who are the people that God has called us to invest into, and how do we do that? So this is kind of this is new territory for me and trying to figure out who am I called to invest in and how do I make that happen. So that's why this interests me. So let's get into it. So we've got the readings that were from yesterday, and then we'll do the readings from today as well, which basically covered, was it just the first chapter or?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the first chapter. So first of all, let's just jump in and talk about what the book is. Let's set up the book pretty much in terms of what's happening. You got Naomi, her family, Ahimelech, if I'm saying his name right. Elimelech. He's married to Naomi. They have 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, and I've heard those names mentioned different in different texts. But they move with their 2 sons to Moab because there's a famine in Bethlehem.